I've seen a lot of people saying here on our chat and on Twitter, and also after Thursday night, I even said it too. Stephon Gilmore was a guy that we had interest in the offseason. And that was a guy that we looked at. We were interested in him. We obviously didn't get him, and he looks great with the Colts. Is that something that we need to look at? I know we drafted a lot of young guys. We brought in a lot of young guys. We got a first rounder that we haven't seen yet. But I feel like we still need a veteran out there. I know, Snead is that, but Snead's kind of a Swiss Army knife, plays all over the place. We kind of need that DB, like that veteran cornerback, and we don't have that. And we're going to have our growing pains. We're going to take our lumps in games like this against Devontae Adams and Mike Williams. Is that something we should have, in retrospect, in hindsight, gone after a veteran guy, DB?
Yeah, see, I wanted to see the Chiefs exercise that because I think going into this draft this season, we saw Brett Veach's tendencies. He doesn't go after cornerbacks early in the draft, and then he goes and gets McDuffie in the first round, trades up for him no less. So it kind of flipped the scale as to how Brett Veach attacks the cornerback position. So I think this team has been showing us more and more that when McDuffie gets back, that's what they believe is going to be the answer to that position. But I would very much kick the tires on bringing a Bashaud Breeland or somebody like that that's familiar with the system just to add that depth presence to this team. But honestly, I'll be real with you. I think where the Chiefs need to attack bringing in veteran presence is on the defensive line, because now we saw Turk Wharton go down. He was immediately called out for the game. I don't know what his injury was, but he was hobbling off the field. Hopefully he's not gone for a long period of time. We know that Turk Wharton's a very effective player for this defensive line. Mike Dan is still banged up. I don't know when he's coming back. It feels like forever ago since he got hurt. I think it was the Chargers game at the very end. And I would like to see the Chiefs go after was it Brian Burns, I believe his name is, from the Carolina Panthers. I know that they're going to do a fire sale very soon. I know the Bills are looking at Christian McCaffrey. I know there's other guys on that team that they're going to try to push out there to try to get some draft picks. They have none right now, and they need to rebuild their team. I would like to see the Chiefs go out there and get a guy like that on a one-year deal. I know the Chiefs don't have a lot of cap space. In fact, I think as it currently stands, they have the least amount of cap space amongst all teams in the league with around $500,000. I would like to see the Chiefs make a move like that, because I think once you get that pass presence, that pass rush down, or at least more effective, I think that the cornerback position is going to look that much better, regardless of whether you have a ton of veterans or a lot of young guys out there, which the Chiefs mostly do. But these young guys have looked really good this season, so I'm going to give them a lot of credit. Yeah. And I think when McDuffie gets back and puts that glue back on those receivers and sticks to their hips, all of a sudden the cornerback position is going to look a lot better, and you're not going to be facing Devontae Adams each and every week. So we'll take that with my guy JD said here, man. You're gonna face better Joes sometimes, man, and that was the case tonight. But yeah, kick the tires on Bashaud Breeland, somebody like that understands the defense. Bring them in, get some depth in here, but more importantly, I want to see defensive line get padded up a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, speaking about guys we kind of kicking tires on and saying names. When I was watching the Ravens play, I was looking at JPP. I was like, "Dang, God, that sucker was looking good."
Yeah,
So
yeah.
Nah, look, I get it. I do. I get having a veteran corner in here and having this presence, especially in the young secondary, is one thing that you would definitely benefit from. But also, I like the fact that you do have young guys who are your challenging early, right? I mean, let them grow right now. And so if you developing guys at the same time, that way the communication is there, right? You're keeping everything consistent. And so it's almost like Nazir was saying. He was just like, man, look, all these guys are in together communicating. They learn how to grow together and play together. And so when you're doing that, then it's almost like you have an incentive to make sure that other guy doesn't fail, right? And so it's like, look, we're out here growing together. And so we all going to challenge each other to get better. And so whatever we have to do, whatever we need to do in practice, whatever we need to do in games, what we need to do as a unit to get better, that's what we need to do. And so I like the youth movement on this team in the secondary, because I think these guys are, man, they're just making us stars. That's what I see. I see the ability. It's there, and it's just you're almost there. When you crack the code, seriously, it's going to be nasty. It will absolutely be nasty. And so I don't know how many yards Devontae Adams had, but that one he caught over the middle, over Cook, and who was that? Was that Watson on the outside too? Was it Jalen? So you got two young guys, right? Yeah. Devontae Adams give you almost like a double move. It gives you like the little hitch and he's gone. And so that's Cook got to be over top of that. Look, if you're the guy supposed to be over top, he cannot beat you deep, right? Yeah. He just can't. And so these guys they'll learn that, and so they'll know the very next time. Okay, coach, I got it. I understand it. I can't fall for that move.
To have the young guys, and this is what we talked about on the show before, JD, is having the young guys in there, kind of getting that experience. We knew this was going to happen. That's what happens when you have young guys. You're going to get the growing pains. You're going to have the lumps. But by week 10, week 12, these guys are kind of already they've gotten it. They've taken the lumps and the bruises, and they're ready to go. Trial by fire. And I mean, yeah. And I'll say 3 catches for Devontae Adams. I know we ended up putting Snead on him, but 3 catches on 7-9 targets. I mean, it's pretty good. Yeah, he had 2 touchdowns on those, so 3 for 124. The context matters there, but he went first quarter and then didn't get a catch till the fourth quarter at the end. I mean, I don't know. It's a fact that they're 124 yards and 2 touchdowns. Yeah, that does kind of suck.
But look, man, I don't think these guys are shaky. That's a good thing I like about it. They have confidence back there, right? You can tell when the guy's a little shaky back there, unsure of himself. Like, these guys are like, shoot, like, yeah, I missed this one. I'm gonna go get the next one, right? That's kind of what I see mentality-wise. It's like they like the challenge. Look, and I'm sure Spags is like, look, I don't care if you make a mistake, right? If you're trying to do the right thing and make a mistake, that's one thing. We can live with that. You have the ability. That's the thing about it. You got the skill set. You're good enough. And so when you have guys who are hungry, like I said, who have this understanding about what it is that they're looking for challenge-wise, I agree with you. About week 10, man, hey, they keep their mentality where it is and understand and just learn the game and the spacing and stuff, they're going to be all right, man. They're going to be all right, right? And I think a lot of it has to deal with who's rushing the passer up front, right? That's the pressure. Get the pressure on them so these other guys can eat. Don't leave these guys on the island all the time if you're not getting any pressure up front, right? And so we know that it's synonymous on being successful on the backside is having somebody up front to make sure that you get errant throws, you get some things that's off timing and stuff like that, right? And so I think that's, with a young secondary, taking the lumps early or doing these challenges, I like where the guys are mentally. I just think that they have a lot of confidence that they're playing, even though it might not look pretty all the time, right? I just think that it will come to fruition later on that these guys are just going to be good.
Yeah, I agree. And real quick on that, I remember months ago before the season even started, and we saw the way the Chiefs built their defense going into this season, it was the opposite of what I anticipated. I was expecting the Chiefs go all pass rush and just get a really nasty front seven. Now, the front seven's been pretty good, especially when Willie Gay's been in there. But, I mean, I think Nick Bolton is one of the 10 best linebackers in football already. This guy is just absolutely nasty. Boom Bolton is what I call him. Guy's just booming everybody out there. But you clearly saw that Brett Veach, in my opinion, built this defense to be more like the 2013, 2014, and 2015 Seahawks, where you had this incredibly young, I might add, secondary. Now, I'm not saying they're going to become Richard Sherman. I'm not saying they're going to become Earl Thomas and Cam Chancellor and these guys, but I think they have a chance. And it's because of what JD just broke down. Is these guys are getting baptized by fire. They're all playing together in unison. And they're all extremely talented. And the biggest point that JD just alluded to is the moment's not too big for them. Not one single time have we seen this season where Jalen Watson looked like he was just, I'm a 7th-round pick, I can't do this. Or Brian Cook's like, I'm a mid-round pick, I can't do this. It never, ever looked like that. It hasn't looked like that, and I can't imagine it's ever going to look like that because you see the confidence they've already exuded in their early stages of their career. So I think it's only going to be up from here. I don't want to sound like an overly optimistic person, but I can't help but be that way when Brett Veach has been crushing ass in the last few drafts that he's had. I mean, 2018 was horrific. But after that, it's gotten better and better and better and better each and every time. And I think these guys are going to pay dividends for this defense. Oh, they already are. But as it gets colder outside and it's going to be harder for these offenses to throw the ball, I'm telling you guys right now, I think these dudes are going to be making big plays for this defense. And I think JD's 100% right, is that sometimes games like this are going to galvanize some folks. And I think that's what you're going to see from these guys very, very quickly as the season progresses.
And I'll say this, talking about, putting these young guys out there earlier on the season. You look at our first 5 games, you got Cardinals, they were without Hopkins, but they had Hollywood Brown, who's, one of the fastest receivers in the league. You have Chargers, you got Mike Williams, who, Watson had to play up against him. He kind of got dominated for much of that game. And what happened? He ends up making the game, the game changing interception, pick six. Colts, Michael Pittman, okay, and then Alec Pierce, who's a solid rookie.
Yeah, he starts showing up. Yeah.
And then Buccaneers, Mike Williams, of course, and then everybody else they had. Julio Jones came back. Godwin came back for that game. And then tonight, Devontae Adams. You didn't have Waller, but you had Renfro. So, I mean, like, these guys are going up against good receiving groups so far this season. So, like, and then next week at Buffalo. So, like, it's gonna continue. I mean, I would say it's probably the toughest stretch for a group of young guys to go against as far as receivers-wise. Pretty tough stretch of receivers to go against. So, I mean, yeah, they're going to take their lumps, of course, and, they'll be better for it. Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out the best clips from Chief Concerns. And if you prefer to listen to the show, subscribe and follow us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and anywhere else you get podcasts.